Hey everyone, I'm Renee, and this is the Body and Mind Strong podcast where we talk all things life, fitness, and health. And quick question for you before we dive into today's episode. Have you ever had a bad food day? Maybe one you ate more than you planned or skipped a workout and then spent the rest of the day or the next few days beating yourself up over it? And somehow that self-criticism made it even harder to get back on track? If that sounds familiar, today's episode is for you. We're shifting towards weight loss for a bit, but true to recent episodes, the real focus is still mindset, because I found a research study that backs up something I've believed for a long time. How you talk to yourself may matter just as much as what you eat or how you move. All right, here's the research study. The article is titled The Impact of Self-Criticism and Self-Reassurance on Weight-Related Effect and Well-Being in Participants of a Commercial Weight Management Program. Yeah, very long title, but there it is. And is found in the source OBES, O-B-E-S, Facts. And of course, I'm going to have the link to this article in the show notes. And if I understand the author information section correctly, the authors of this article are from the UK and Portugal areas. Now, with all the research studies, always keep an objective mind as you read them. And today, take what I say with a grain of salt. Maybe not that small, maybe a grain of rice. Anyways, as I was reading this one, I noticed some areas that needed improvement. I also noticed that some of what they were finding was running in sync with what we have all known for some time, and that is the power of our minds have on our feelings and behaviors. A side note, I work with a great deal of my therapy clients on perspectives and how it can impact our communications with each other. This goes the same for coaching. As I discuss this article, keep in mind it's coming from my perspective and how I interpret the information. If you're interested in this topic, I definitely encourage you to read the study yourself and see how you interpret it. Okay, here's some of the basics. The basis of the study is they wanted to find out the impact of psychological and emotional factors on attempts at weight loss management, thus looking at self-criticism and self-reassurance and one's well-being. In general, the results showed a positive correlation between self-criticism and struggles with weight loss management and between self-reassurance and weight management success. So for those who are unaware, a positive correlation between two factors just mean when one factor increases, so does the other, and when one decreases, so does the other. Just another side note, on the flip side, when one factor goes up and the other goes down, this is referred to as negative correlation. Okay, here are just a few quotes I pulled from the article. First, the article states, evidence now suggests that sustained weight loss requires behavioral strategies for self-regulation, action planning, developing self-efficacy, autonomy, and motivation. Now that's a mouthful. Now, this is something I believe a lot of people are already realizing. So it's not something that new. I mean, this is the reason I started Body and Mind Strong. And I know I'm not the only one that believes this. If you want to increase your chances of achieving your goal, whether weight loss or career-wise or anything, having a plan and the right mindset will help. All right. The study also touched on something a lot of my clients have brought into sessions over the years, the weight stigma that overweight individuals carry and how it shapes their relationship with food. The researchers found a link between internalizing that stigma and overeating. Here's what that looks like in real life. I've had clients tell me they wanted to start going to the gym and get healthier, but they hold back because they're scared of how the, quote, more fit people will see them. So instead of walking in and starting that first workout, they stay home. And the shame that kept them out of the gym ends up feeding that same cycle they were trying to break. That right there could be its own full episode. So let me know if that's something you'd like me to dig more into. Okay, the following statements from the studies demonstrate some of their findings. First one, developing a self-reassuring and accepting attitude towards one's imperfections and flaws, i.e. physical appearance, may buffer against the pervasive negative effects of shame, unfavorable social comparison, and body image dissatisfaction. To super simplify that very long statement, basically is accept who you are and stop comparing yourself to others. And I know we've all heard that statement before. And here's the second quote. Looking first at the correlations, results showed that self-criticism and self-reassurance were indeed negatively correlated, but the correlation was not sufficiently high to suggest a bipolar construct. All right, I'm going to break that one down. This basically suggests that just because you think negatively doesn't automatically mean you're going to struggle, okay? Or if you are positive that you automatically will succeed. But there is some degree of truth to it, okay? Now, the authors did recognize that this was the first study which clearly demonstrated the impact of the mindset in weight management, and they even stated aspects that could be better for the next study. And the reason I like to point that out is whenever there's a first study, take everything definitely with a grain of salt, because the whole purpose of looking for like a positive, like a solid cause and effect or what's going on, you want to have multiple studies showing the same results. So when you have the first study, you're like, hey, we're onto something here. Let's keep creating studies to see if we can continue to prove this, okay? So this is really important to keep all this in mind when you read any research study. However, with this in mind, the fact that the outcome was in line with what we have already known about the power of the mind, I think says something. All right, I'm going to wrap all this up. Now, I know I've kept this episode super short once again, but I hope it gave you enough information to spark some motivation, or at least some interest in challenging your own mindset, especially if you find yourself leaning towards being negative more or being more negative these days. If that's you, I want to leave you with an assignment. Start keeping a log of daily positive statements about yourself, how you feel, how you look, or something good you did. Just one a day, and try to stay consistent with it. Use a notebook, a Word doc, or an app on your phone, whatever works for you. And that's it for today's episode. If this one helped you realize or make a mindset shift, I'd love to hear about it and share it with someone you think could use it too. And if this is something you're struggling with and want to process it with a professional, reach out to me. You can find me at www.bodyandmindstrong.com. Thanks for listening, and make sure you're doing at least one thing today that's going to get you one step closer to one of your goals. Don't let your mind get in the way of what you can achieve, and be kind to yourself. You deserve it. Take care.